I am Khleifi. I'm doing today Kaak معمول. This is Easter specialty that we do in Palestine and in the other Arab countries. And I'm making Kaak معمول from semolina flour. It's semolina. And I use butter with it. And it has to be animal fats, not any other fats, because this is how it used to be done in the past. And since Easter falls always in April or March or May, I mean spring, so people used to take the animal fats because of the milk and so on and make this specialty. And Kaak, we make it with dates and معمول with nuts. And there is a symbolic reason why they are doing it. They say, this is how we learned when we were kids, that the Kaak, because it's round and it has a hole, it represents the crown of thorn that has been put on Jesus Christ when he was crucified. And mamul, it represents the sponge that they used to wet it and put it in his mouth. So this is how they taught us when we were kids. And I think it's every family here, they know that this is a symbolic of the crown and the sponge. Because we use semolina, and semolina has to absorb all the fats, so we put the butter a day before. It has to be between 12 to 24 hours or more, but not less than that. So we put the butter on the semolina, and we mix it for 10 minutes, and we leave it one night. And the next day, when we want to make it, we just add some flavors or scents. I like to use flour, neroli, we call it neroli. And I have the scent concentrated. I just dilute it in water, and I use the water to add and just make the dough. I'm trying to spread the butter because it dries up. It's cold, so it dries up, and then I have to make it like soft with my hands before I add the water. Otherwise, we'll have crumbs. I use butter, and I melt the butter not very, very well. I melt it half melt, and I mix it and I add it, because if it is hot, the semolina gets coated and you can't make the dough perfect. So it has to be like a little bit of warm only. Little bit of warm. And now I'm done with spreading. And in general, we use a little bit of yeast. It doesn't need yeast because the butter can make it rise and when we bake it. So we need just a little bit of yeast, because they believe that yeast is something brings fortune. So they use a little bit. And we mix it. You can do it without yeast, but I like to use a little bit, just to follow the traditions. And now I have to wash my hands a little bit because I want to add, oh, I can do it, okay. So this is concentrated neroli flavor, which is ma' zahar in Arabic. We make it ma' zahar. You can buy it diluted in bottles. I like it like this because the diluted one, the concentration is not very high, so you don't taste it in the end. So, for each kilo of semolina, 400 grams of butter and 3 tablespoons of neroli scent. Now, we start making the dough. We add little by little of water. And we don't do it like we do the bread. Just we make it like this because we don't want to activate the gluten in it. If we activate the gluten, it becomes like bread. Yes, so we have to do it like this. Mix it a little bit by little. Because sometimes you eat kaak and it's like bread. It's because they don't know how to mix it. So little bit of water each time until we reach a certain dough. Now we see it. It started to change the texture. We have to be careful because there are different kinds of semolina. Some semolina takes more water than other semolina. It depends on the wheat. It's a learning process. You can't do it like from day one and it is perfect. You have to learn it and try it and experiment with it. But since I have my mother to learn from, so it went always perfect. I think it's done now. I leave it to rest for 10 minutes and then see if it needs another bit of water or not, because now it absorbs the water, and then we'll see. Maybe it does need, maybe it does not need. We'll see. So we keep it to rest. Now we'll move to the stuffing to show you how to prepare the stuffing. It's dates and nuts this time. So we'll leave it at the side. We cover it because we don't want it to dry. Now the weather is good. If it is in the summer, it's hot, you have to cover it and it needs more water because it dries up very quickly. Now the stuffing I prepared yesterday, I bring the whole date, I take the seeds out of it, yes, and I'll just mix it little, yeah, and I just mix it together and I put cinnamon and nutmegs and oil, little bit of oil because I don't want it to get very dry. And this is how it becomes like very light because I used the full dates. This is for the dates, and we make it rounded like this. And this is the nuts. I add little bit of sugar. Of course, I cut it into small pieces. And I add cinnamon and a little bit of nutmegs and 1 big tablespoon of ghee, because it mixes everything together. Okay, now we'll prepare the dates. We prepare as much as we can, but you can also take like a little bit and make it at the size. It has to be this thick in order to make it this thick.
And go.
The dough now, after 10 minutes, I found that it requires a little bit of water, so I add a little bit. They used to do this kaak as a group, family, or neighbors, and so on. And each family, they have a day to make their own. They make like from 5 kilos and up. And all the women come and help. Some they prepare the dates, some prepare the nuts, and some they do the stuffing, and some do the decoration. And this is like it's a group work, because families use do lots of kilos. I know some families, my grandparents used to do 10 kilos. So we used to go and help. Yes. So it's a process and it's a group work. But now I'm doing it alone, so I do kilo by kilo, like every day a kilo. And they used to take it to the public oven. So they put them in big trays and they bake it like this. But here we bake like according to our size. It doesn't need slow heat. It needs direct, like strong heat, and it doesn't take time. Otherwise it becomes dry. I think now the dough is okay. We'll have to cut it into pieces, like small balls. And it should be like enough. Yeah, I don't like it very small. It's the size of my palm when I do like this. And kids used to love it because they used to watch first of all, and mothers would give them like pieces and they make their own cakes and they bake it and they eat it. They love it. It's like it can be a family like activity. So they can come, the kids, and share with the mother and feel very happy because they do something. It's like, what do you call it, majuna in school. For me, I do like 20 or 25 at a time. And then I finish them, and then I'll do the rest. So now we'll do a mix, 1 tray of dates and nuts. Also some, when they decorate, I use these ones for decoration. But some people, they have like a ready-made shape that you put it, it's very quick. Yes. I don't have it. So the dates, I do it like this. I have to sit down. Excuse me. So now I do the dates. I do it like a shape, and from the middle I leave it like very thick because I want to make the hole. So I do it like this. Press it. It is ready. So I'll make sure that also from the bottom the dates is not seen. It has to be covered because otherwise it will stick when we bake it. I want to do the ma'moul, we call it ma'moul, and we stuff it with nuts. I'll do it like this, make a hole. Now I put it on my hand and I do like this. Now we'll do the decoration of the sponge, and we do it from this way up all the way, because when we sprinkle the powdered sugar it has to stay, otherwise it falls, because it's like a rock. Now I put it in the oven. I heated the lower part of this one 5 minutes, and then